Hello, BME 437 peers. I am filming this video for my migrant worker SLLMD. I please ask that you open the document that I have attached in BB Learn, and I apologize for any craziness in this video because I'm going to be using my sister as kind of a student, but I'm mainly going to be talking to you all, and we have a brand new puppy and it's hanging out with us, so sorry. Anyway, to start, this is the second activity in my entire SLLMD. I am focusing on migrant workers in the United States, specifically Hispanic American, or like Hispanic descent. They might be from, specifically Hispanic descent from the Latin American areas, and specifically food produce, like strawberry pickers. I'm focusing on those types of migrant workers rather than chefs and construction workers. These people are present everywhere, but I'm narrowing down my lesson to a more hidden side because not necessarily everyone sees that side of the food industry, where all of our stuff comes from. And so that's what I'm choosing to focus on. Okay, so I already did the pre-assessment, and I did it with my sister, who also already knows about migrant workers. So my pre-assessment was to draw and write, if you could, what a migrant worker looks like. And since we're familiar with the subject, she drew a mouth covering, a big hat, work boots and jeans, a scarf, so they don't breathe in the pesticides. And she wrote her adjectives about what she wrote about, and then I wrote, and then at the bottom it's de donde es, which is where are they from, and she said this one is from Mexico, when in reality the answer can be from anywhere. And yeah, and so I'm going to give that back to her. But basically the pre-assessment, if kids don't know about it, they're not going to know what to write, and it's just it would just confirm to me that they don't know what to do. So with your document, I wrote specific instructions for us people in college to do. I only want you to fill out one vocabulary square. I don't need you to fill out all of the vocabulary words. It's okay. Just fill out one. In the lesson plan, the kids are only filling out one. So I'm asking that you fill out one. You choose the word, you choose whatever. I'm assigning my sister to do emigration, EMMIGRATION. But you all can choose whatever you want. And for the picture, if you don't have access to drawing and then taking a picture, if you don't want to draw, you can use clip art or you can leave it blank. Whatever is most synthetic to what? Synthetic? No. Whatever works best for you. Anyway, I'm going to start. I'm going to be teaching my sister. I'm going to be teaching my sister, giving her the instructions like she's a 6th grader. And there's going to be a little bit of Spanish, but not that much because they're only in 6th grade and are relatively new to the language, and they're also ELL students. And her assigned word is emigration. Okay, Buenos dias, Eliza.
Do I need to be in frame?
No. Just, you can be there. Okay. Buenos dias, Eliza.
Good.
No. Okay. Hoy vamos a aprender sobre los obreros migrantes que son migrant workers. Okay, today we're learning about migrant workers, and we're going to start today with our vocabulary, working with vocabulary squares. Okay, so I'm going to assign each of you in groups a vocabulary word, and Eliza, your vocabulary word is emigration, which is the act of leaving one's own country to settle permanently in another, moving abroad, okay? So I'm going to ask that in each vocabulary square, as a class in your groups, you're going to define it in your own words. The dictionary definitions are for you already. You're going to write a synonym or antonym. You're going to draw a picture, and you're going to write that sentence in a word. So, please start. Yours is the second one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So for the rest of you, I'm going to say the rest of the vocab words while she gets started. So migration is the seasonal movement of animals from one region to another. So this technically does not apply to people in a stereotypical sense, but people do migrate, but not in the biological sense. Immigration is the action of coming to live permanently in a foreign country. So immigration is like arriving. What? I'm sorry. Emigration is the act of leaving one's own country. So if I were to leave the United States, I would be emigrating. But once I arrived in that new country, like if I moved to Mexico, since it's just next door, that would be immigration. But the act of leaving the United States would be emigration, E-M-M. Our next one is Cesar Chavez. He was an American labor leader, a community organizer, and a Latino American civil rights activist. So he led mass protests and mass activism for migrant workers to be recognized, and was a great leader in the community. Si se puede is the motto of the United Farm Workers of America and has since been taken up by other activist groups. In 1972, during Cesar Chavez's 25-day fast in Phoenix, Arizona. In Phoenix, Arizona, the United Farm Workers came up with that slogan, and it means, yes, it can be done. So it's inspiring to all. Okay, continuing. Living wage. Living wage is a wage that is high enough to maintain the normal standard of living. Bicultural is having or combining the cultural attitudes and customs of two nations, peoples, or ethnic groups. Citizen, a legally recognized subject or national of the state, commonwealth, either native or naturalized. Empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings with each other, and that is it for the vocabulary. I hope that you have completed your square. Eliza has completed hers while we were talking. And so Eliza, I need you to share this with the class. What you wrote, what you did.
So for my definition in my own words, I said leaving your country to go to another. And then for synonym, I said leaving. And then for the picture, I drew the United States, wrote by in it. And then for the sentence, I said I'm emigrating from the U.S. And I couldn't think of a place. So.
Thank you, Eliza. Okay, so here's her work. There's her picture. It's backwards. I'm sorry. But yes, so I would have had each group come up and share when they finished. Unfortunately, my class is my 18-year-old sister and not an actual group of 6th graders, nor my college peers like the original plan. So,
Spanish level, 6th grade.
and my sister also does not speak any Spanish, nor has taken a Spanish class ever. So, oops, but that's okay. But yeah, so I think it's very important to teach about this because they're kind of the unheard backbone of our food system, how we eat any fresh produce, any food we consume during this time, during this scary coronavirus time. They're not getting days off. They're essential workers, but they also don't get benefits. And later in the lesson, I plan on specifically teaching what it is, specifically what a migrant worker is. We're going to listen to interviews, and then later on in the lesson, we're going to do a budgeting activity where I give them a migrant worker's salary and they have to decide, I'm going to buy this, this, and that, and then see how much can they live off of that wage. Do 6th graders normally spend, their money on surviving? No, not normally. So we talk about that, and then they'd be researching a migrant worker and then in turn presenting that. They'd research in English and Spanish, and then they would present in Spanish. And they'd also write a biography beforehand, gathering all their facts. And that's the long-term plan, but today was just vocab. And that's it. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry this video was crazy. My life's crazy. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening.